Interstate 5 is one of the longest north-south interstate highways in the United States, stretching from the Canadian border to the Mexican border along a total of 1,300 miles, which you can cross in less than 1 day of driving with no breaks. I think the most interesting thing for my viewers is that there are several north-south interstates stretching through the US from as north as Minnesota to as south as southern Texas or Florida. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel for travel and global content, and enable notifications. Leave a comment below saying I subscribed. Run the intro. Interstate 95, stretching over 1,900 miles from Miami, Florida to Houlton, Maine. The highway passes through 15 states, making I-95 the longest interstate with the most states traversed along its route. Interstate 95 is a vital transportation link for commerce and tourism, connecting some of the largest metropolitan areas on the East Coast, including Miami, Florida, Washington, D.C., and New York City. Interstate 95 is the main artery of what they call the Northeast Megalopolis, which is the most densely populated part of the United States. Interstate 95 is the main interstate highway from Central Virginia to Boston, Massachusetts. If you've ever driven anywhere on the East Coast, you'll be no stranger to the traffic that can build along the I-95 corridor around major cities. Interstate 95 carries more than 110 million tons of freight each year and is vital for global logistics. Interstate 95 is also the oldest interstate highway in the United States, with its first segment opening in 1956. Interstate 75 runs over 1,700 miles from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan to Miami, Florida in the south. Though it does primarily run north-south through the U.S., when Interstate 75 reaches Naples in southwestern Florida, the interstate abruptly bends at a right angle and runs across the state of Florida east-west, ending in Miami. Interstate 75 is known as the Michigan to Florida Highway, passing through 6 states and some of the Midwest's largest cities, including Detroit, Michigan, Cincinnati, Ohio, and Atlanta, Georgia. Interstate 75 is also popular with snowbirds and retirees in the Midwest, using the interstate to travel between the Midwest and the tropical climates of Florida during winter. If you're not looking to escape the cold, the section of I-75 that passes through northern Michigan is a popular destination for snowmobiling, snowboarding, and skiing. I-75 passes through several parks and natural areas, including the Ocala National Forest in Florida and the Chattahoochee National Forest in Georgia. The highway also skirts the southern boundary of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Tennessee and North Carolina, which is one of the most visited national parks in the United States. Additionally, Interstate 75 passes by the Corkscrew Swamp Sanctuary in Florida, which is a popular destination for bird watching, fishing, and hiking. The section of I-75 that passes through Georgia is named the Jimmy Carter Parkway in honor of the former president who grew up in the state of Georgia. Interstate 35 is the third longest north-south interstate, spanning over 1,500 miles from Duluth, Minnesota to Laredo, Texas. Interstate 35 spans nearly the entire nation from north to south, except it stops 100 miles short of the Canadian border in the north, dead-ending in Duluth, Minnesota. For travelers going to Canada, you can take the scenic route US Route 61, which connects to I-35 in Duluth and then stretches along Lake Superior through the small towns of Silver Bay and Two Harbors, Minnesota for the remaining 100 miles to cross into Ontario. Interstate 35 passes through 9 states and several major metropolitan areas, including Minneapolis, Minnesota, Kansas City, Missouri, and Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. The Texas Hill Country and Oklahoma's Arbuckle Mountains are some of the scenic highlights of the Interstate 35 route. The section of I-35 that passes through Kansas is known as the Kansas Turnpike and is one of the busiest toll roads in the country and runs between Kansas City and to Wichita, Kansas. Moving to the west coast, we have Interstate 5, which covers over 1,300 miles from Blaine, Washington to San Ysidro, California. I-5 is a major north-south artery passing through 3 states and several major western cities, including Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon, and Los Angeles, California. Some of the busiest sections of highway in the United States are on I-5 around Portland as well as Los Angeles. I-5 is known for its stunning scenery, particularly through Oregon and Northern California. Mount Shasta, Crater Lake, and the Oregon Dunes are just a few of the natural attractions along Interstate 5. The segment of I-5 that passes through the city of Dunsmuir, California has the distinction of being the only section of the entire Interstate 5 highway that is officially designated as a National Scenic Highway. The 7.5-mile stretch is known as the Dunsmuir Grade and offers breathtaking views of the surrounding mountains and forests. The Dunsmuir Grade is a popular destination for recreational activities such as hiking, fishing, and skiing, and has been featured in several movies and TV shows. I think the most interesting thing for my viewers is that Interstate 5 doesn't pass through the San Francisco Bay Area on the west coast, with the Bay Area situated about 80 miles west of Interstate 5, running more central through California. Interstate 55 covers over 1,200 miles from Chicago, Illinois in the north to New Orleans, Louisiana in the south. Interstate 55 passes through 6 states, including the Mississippi Delta, and is an important transportation route for shipping goods between the Midwest and the Gulf of Mexico in the south. The Mississippi River and its tributaries provide a scenic backdrop for much of the route of I-55. The section of I-55 that passes through Illinois is known as the Stevenson Expressway, named after former Illinois Governor Adlai Stevenson. Fun fact: Interstate 55 replaced much of the eastern stretches of the historic U.S. Route 66, which used to be the main highway taking long-distance travelers from Chicago, Illinois to Southern California back in the 19th century. I-65, which stretches over 900 miles from Gary, Indiana to Mobile, Alabama. I-65 passes through 4 states, including several major cities like Indianapolis, Indiana, Nashville, Tennessee, and Birmingham, Alabama. The highway is a vital transportation link for commercial shipping and also popular with tourists, as it passes through several notable landmarks such as the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, one of the biggest NASCAR raceways in the country. Interstate 65 also passes through the city of Louisville, Kentucky, which is famous for its annual Kentucky Derby horse race. In fact, Interstate 65 actually stretches right over Churchill Downs, and drivers on I-65 can see the iconic twin spires of the racetrack as they drive on this part of the interstate. During the Kentucky Derby, Interstate 65 is often congested with traffic from people traveling to and from the event. Thanks for watching through the full stretch of the video. Subscribe to the channel for more. There you have it, the longest north-south interstate highways in the United States. The United States boasts an impressive interstate system of over 47,000 miles of highway. Stretching from the urban centers of the East Coast to the rugged beauty of the West Coast, each of these highways has its unique characteristics and natural attractions. Which ones have you driven on? And what did you enjoy most about your drive? I hope you get to drive these highways soon. Thanks for watching.